online courses, internships, learning by doing. Considering all the self-education possibilities on the internet, do you really need college? By one simple measure, the answer is yes. The unemployment rate for people aged 25 to 34 with only a high school diploma, 11.3%. For people with a bachelor's degree, 4.5%. What's the argument against college? A new book by Dale Stevens, Hacking Your Education, argues college diplomas are antiquated. I asked him to make his case.
I think that you should only be going to college if you know specifically why you're going and if it makes sense to spend the money. I would encourage someone to take time off, to travel, to do internships, to do other things that might help you figure out what you want to do before you commit to spending 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars.
But you might figure out that you just want to drink and hang out.
And if you want to do that, it's a lot cheaper to do that in the real world than if you're paying tuition.
I also invited Zac Bissonnette. He's written a book about how to save money on your education. He thinks Stevens' advice is dangerous.
People who don't go to college end up worse off than people who do go to college, across the board. And of course, there are going to be exceptions, but in general, college is something that offers a really good return on investment.
Over the long term, Zac's correct. Someone over 25 who has just a high school diploma earns, on average, $652 per week. A bachelor's degree, $1,300 per week. But then you have to consider, today, the average cost of a four-year degree from a public university, including room, board, tuition, and expenses, is $60,000. So, isn't student loan debt a huge problem? For the average borrower, it's a challenging situation. He or she graduates with $27,000 in student loan debt. And if you plug that into a payment calculator, after a 6-month grace period post-graduation, the monthly payment over 10 years would be $310 per month. Based on the calculation that your payment should be less than 8% of your gross earnings, you'd be able to cover that $310 check if you make around $47,000 per year. The average class of 2012 graduate earns $44,000.
Forcing them to choose jobs that might not be ideal and might not be something that they really want to do.
But at least they can get a job interview.
In getting that first job, how big of a difference does a degree really make? Here's what employers say. 36% say they're looking for the right fit in a job candidate, regardless of whether he or she has a college degree. 34% say they'd be open to an outstanding candidate without a degree, and only 31% say a college degree is always required. So what's the alternative to college?
You can now get the credential for free. We have these university systems that are offering to give credit for online courses.
But those same employers are skeptical of non-traditional credentials. Only 10% say they'd consider an online certificate in place of a bachelor's degree. Another 29% aren't sure. What's the lesson here? Hacking your education, the do-it-yourself approach to learning, might work for some extraordinary people. The numbers show for most people, a college degree remains the better financial bet. That's the short answer.